Questions the human mind cannot answer. Out of reach, past all we can see, hear, and touch, beyond all we understand, lies the extraordinary.
Guide to downloading the Hallozeens. So you need one of these. I like to call it a internet web browser. I'm using Google Chrome. You can use whatever you want. Safari, Firefox, all those kinds of ones. So I'll give you the URL. It's a Hallozeen. That's how you spell it. HALLOZEEN. Some people like to put a W in there. That's not right. Then you put a dot, and it's itch.io. Now, Itch.io is a site. It mainly hosts games and stuff, but I put comics in there, and you can too, and zines, which is what we're doing here. So you get to this page. If you've got an Itch account, you can press the follow Hallozeen thing in the top right there. That'd be nice. We're probably only gonna release stuff once a year. So there you go. There's the logo, drawn by me. The zeros are spiders, and also the O in the Hallozeen is also a spider. And then what you want to do then is just scroll down a bit, and you'll see all that's there is Alex's Twitter handle. On the right here, you've got this thing that says Hallozeen 2020 again, a collection of Halloween-related zines. So what you're going to want to do then is just give that a press. And here we go. Got that same logo there. So what you got there on the left is description. These are the links to the contributing artists. You can probably see I'm recording this Friday night, so this is going to change. There's going to have a few more. On the right, you can see some little previews, and if you keep scrolling down on the left, these are the links to the actual zines. Can you download them all in one go? Probably not. And on the right there, you see some previews, and let's say, if I say, oh, I like the look of this. I like the look of this horror movie, Monster Friends. So you just scroll back up there. And there it is right there. So you click this download and you say open. Or you just click it. I was holding it down a bit too hard, I think. And there it goes. It just opens in a new thing. And what's this here? You can open in a new program if you want. Or I might not leave that up there. And there you go. You go back there. Here's this little thanks for downloading. Now they're all, I believe I've put them all for free. And there's usually an option to donate, so hopefully I haven't put that up there, because that's kind of messy trying to organize payments for everyone. But I reckon if you like the good scenes you did, click on the artist's name up there, let them know, see what else they've got, throw them a few dollars if you can, and there you go. You just gotta click each one on its own. It'll open up. And there you read it. And you can save it most probably, or upload it to something else. I don't recommend you print any because a lot of them are very black, but also I imagine the artists will print them themselves, and when we can do fairs and stuff again, they'll be selling them in person. So you get your physicals. So there you go, hallozeen.itch.io. Have a happy Halloween, Hallozeen.
So this is love. So this is what makes life divine. My romance was different from the rest.
Hallozeen 2020.
Every time I see you, I spook you, you scream. That is how I know my spooks are quality.
So I got involved because Alex is really persuasive, and if I didn't feel like doing it, she would have said, yep, fine, don't bother. So a lot of the time, if you're asked to contribute to anthologies, people say, well, just whatever, do whatever. But doing something specifically for Halloween at least gives you some kind of parameters to work within. And that's very helpful when you could make a comic basically about anything. So I wish you all a spooky Halloween, etc.
Questions. What is a Hallozeen? To me, it's anything even vaguely spoopy. A zine, obviously. What does Hallozeen mean to you? To me, it's been an opportunity to reach out to the zine community because they're my friends and I love them dearly, and it is a great opportunity for an art challenge, which I really love. How did you first get involved with Hallozeen? Alex is my friend. She posted a lot about it, and that got me very excited. And again, I'm up for a challenge. What was your first Hallozeen about? I made one about carnivorous plants, so that was really fun. Got a bit cartoony, but I learned a lot about zine formats. It was the first zine I'd made in about 5 years, actually. What Halloween thing scares you? I'm pretty great with most things, but I'm a synesthete, so I hate jump scares, really not into them. Anything else though? Themes? Other stuff? Yeah, we're cool, just no jump scares. Is it about overlapping wish fulfillment and challenging what disgusts you? Absolutely. I think that love and disgust are, two sides of the same coin. So I think there's elements of fulfillment in completing a zine in much the same way that you would be getting fulfillment of completing dressing up and going out. So in that way, it's uniting us from our homes.
Halloween zine? Hallozeen. I can't wink.
What is Hallozeen?
Is Hallozeen? Good question. Hallozeen to me is a combination of my two biggest loves, which is zines and Halloween. So it's the one time a year where I get to try and just really dominate and come alive and just do everything I love.
A zine made about Halloween themes and a launch for celebrating those zines.
Hallozeen is a portmanteau of two really cool things, Halloween and a zine. That was a pretty layman's explanation, but I really just want to use the word portmanteau.
Hallozeen is a Halloween-themed zine event that has been running for roughly 6 years at this point. It was started by Alex E. Clark a couple of years ago as just something she wanted to do, I guess.
What doesn't it mean to me? I don't know. I feel like it's a really nice supportive environment for like-minded people to write zines around a Halloween theme.
What is a Hallozeen to you?
Friendship.
Yes. Coming together with friends. Friends.
Except coming together remotely.
Coming together remotely with friends.
Safely distanced.
Safely distanced
from friends.
With friends.
Hallozeen to me kind of encompasses 80% of my general vibe anyway. So I think when Halloween comes around, Hallozeen is good for making everyone produce content that I know I'm going to enjoy. Like, it's just like, imagine if all your favorite artists could make things that you're into. It helps that other people are into Halloweeny things as well. so it's not entirely self-serving, but that is at its core a very selfish reason why I run Hallozeen every year. And this year is the 6th year, so good job everyone who's made it before, and I'm excited to see what people make this year.
Hallozeen is about coming together and celebrating all the things you love. Like making stuff, making zines, like little spookums, and each other. Love for each other, not just me and Alex, but our love for the zine people and the zine community.
I mostly just made spooky zines for a while, and this was an excuse to keep making them. There was like an art exhibition. We took a lot of pictures.
It feels like the mid-year zine event for Melbourne. So we have the Festival of the Photocopier in February, which is an event Sticky runs. It's like the biggest zine fair in the Southern Hemisphere, as far as we're aware. And then we have a bunch of out-of-state festivals throughout the year. And then we get to October, and then we have Hallozeen. So it kind of like brings the zine community back home for a whole minute. And it gives us something to do locally. You would think that this would be a bit of a fringe event in a country that doesn't necessarily celebrate Halloween officially. However, the Melbourne zine community is full of current and previous goths. You can never really run away from your past, I think. And this is one of those things that we just keep circling back to, because you can never truly escape who you are in your heart of hearts. So.
I think we owe zines a lot in the community, me and Alex. We are doing this for ourselves, first and foremost, but it's nice. It's a nice little bonus that people can come together and make stuff, and a little bit of zines that are ours, and everyone gets something out of it.
It's placed in a good part of the year, I think, because it gets people back into like hectic, kind of frantic zine making mindset, and then they say they're going to do Halloween, and then they put it off for like 3 to 4 weeks, and then they smash out a zine in the last 1 week leading up to the event. And that's great. And then we all get together and we have a good time. And then at that point, everyone starts thinking about Festival of Photocopier again. And so
I think the big thing about this year Hallozeen is usually zine fairs and stuff are what I use as deadlines for zines, and there haven't been any this year, so I haven't made anything. So Hallozeen's probably the one thing that was like, oh, I gotta do something. I had something planned for July. We're gonna do something in Comic Street that in Brisbane that got cancelled. Who knows when the next thing is where we can see people and sell stuff in person. So this is good. I can still make stuff, but if it's not tied to like a zine fair or some kind of event, I'm just not going to finish it. Sometimes I still don't finish it, but it's been good to make a thing.
I think the peer pressure of Hallozeen, I think the competitive nature of actually finishing something. You're not competing with other people, you're competing with yourself and your lack of will to finish something. I think that's great. And I think that's exactly what we need in October. It's good. It's a bit of a challenge, but I really like it.
I held the first Hallozeen in 2015 at Brunswick Arts. It was part garage sale, part exhibition, part zine launch. I just want to chuck up a few photos from past Hallozeens here, just to jog your memory in case you want to talk about a specific Hallozeen, because we did have ones at the gallery. There was one that was 2 years before the official first Hallozeen.
That first comic event thing, Me and Andrew Fulton and Aaron McKenna did a anthology comic called Drax. We did silly Dracula comics in it.
So Brunswick Arts, which is where it used to be held in a physical environment, was behind where we used to live, and we used to spend a lot of time dicking around there. And then Alex was like, hey, I'm gonna put together this thing.
Kind of met Alex and I from working with Squishface and doing Home Cook Comics Festival. And I thought they were really nice and cool. Did this painting that opened an exhibition at Brunswick Arts where they were living. It was a very mature painting, may have involved a man shitting on a woman's heart. Very, very subtle, beautiful, nuanced painting. Anyway, they really liked it, and I got, I think, a prize for it, which was really encouraging. And it sort of led me to want to do something for any event they did next, and that just happened to be Hallozeen.
I always wanted to do a Halloween-related event, and I was working at Brunswick Arts, I was living there and doing stuff, and I always wanted to do like a spookum, scary Halloween-related thing. So just got a few, I think there were like 5 launches, 5 things being launched that night. It was a good night, and then I think there was like a year gap, and then Alex just took over and made it great, made it massive, made it cool. Also in Brunswick Arts, that the first Hallozeen, there were like talks and an exhibition, and it was really good. So I've always been involved in Hallozeen.
I've known Alex for an incredibly long time. It will be written down somewhere in one of the many references I've written her throughout all of the years. When she's excited about something, it is hard not to be excited about that as well. She's very, what's the word, effluent? Effervescent? Something? Effusive? There is a word for what Alex is, and it's when she's excited, it's kind of manic and contagious, and you can't help but be excited about it as well. The third event, I'm pretty sure that's when it moved to Sticky. Alex needed a venue, and I was like, hey, just come here, no price, like, you already know where it is, everyone else knows where it is, it's probably a very easy shift.
What was your first Halloween about?
It wasn't very Halloween-y. It wasn't like about monsters or anything. It was my first Garbage Bags comic, so it was all about depression and anxiety. Nothing particularly scary other than our own demons. But you know, it was my very first scene, which was very exciting. And it was pretty funny to see sort of powder pink zine on the table of dark, deep, monstery zines.
I started my Gothtober prompt list, which began 4 years ago, and now I've been maintaining it for many years, and other people have joined in, which is so cool. So thank you.
What was my first Hallozeen about? I don't remember. I make a lot of zines that I forget about instantly, I think. Potentially it was a curse. I think that one, I don't put dates on these things, so I'm not really sure. But a curse was a comic about putting a curse on a friend who has slighted you. I don't know, it's vague. It's a vague comic, but it is about cursing someone you know who has potentially done something that you're not really into, and maybe you're a little bit petty, and you're like, well, maybe you do get what you deserve after all.
I did crimes.
You did crimes?
Yeah, I did crimes with Alex. Now there's video confession. We did crimes.
My first Halloween was Legend of the White Stag, and I think I did launch it at that first one that wasn't technically Halloween. I liked femme fatale folklore and was researching Rusalka at the time. It was like, Russia is huge, so there were regional differences in Rusalka appearance, and there's some that are just hairy all over, and some are widows, and some are fatalities of assault. But like, if you get too notorious, then you get hunted down.
Oculus Sinister I really liked because it was about how I do not enjoy wearing my glasses. I only need them for screens. I'm looking at a screen right now and I'm not wearing them. So that's pretty much how I feel about it. They're popular because they're $1. I'm fully aware of how that works, but I'm quite happy with it.
My first Halloween, that's unmentionable. Can't be disclosed. No comment. I made one, but you'll never know it was me unless I tell you, which I'm not going to. It's a mystery. I don't know.
For the first Halloween, I don't know what I did. I didn't do a zine. I did a game for that first event because it was being held in the gallery. The game was called Go Go Ghost House, and it's like 2 players, and you just have to bounce around a house to try and catch the ghosts. It's one of those things, like most of my games, where it's pretty good, and then I didn't do anything else on it. It's not available anywhere. I think that could be a good thing to put. Yeah, I forgot about that game. It was good. Why did I never do more on it? Maybe I should do more on it.
What's the silliest thing you're scared of?
I don't want to dredge up trauma, but what's something that you're persistently scared of, and it's for a silly reason?
What's the silliest thing I'm scared of? Cockroaches.
That's not scary. That's not silly. That's
a legitimate fear.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. Dolls. Weird little dolls. Pretty freaked out by weird little dolls.
My parents told me when I was little there was a picnic commercial, and it was like set in the jungle and a crocodile jumps out, and that used to scare me when I was little. That's all I can think of. I've got sensible fears. Scary movies don't really do it for scary. Games aren't scary. Unless I have to do like stealth stuff. Being caught being naughty is a thing I can get scared of in games and probably life.
The thing that scares me is man-made structures underwater. I can't stand it when a person has put something underwater that's not meant to be there, like animatronics, like puppets moving under.
So because I run Hallozeen, people ask what horror movies I'm into. And like, I'm not really. I'm quite scared of things all of the time. So I do love Crimson Peak. Those red ghosts and most Doug Jones monsters just mess me up, and I can vividly picture them approaching me in the house at night, and it's the worst. So I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but I do like Halloween themes, which, you know, just like things that are difficult.
Probably everything. I have a lot of anxiety. I'd say other people freak me out. I don't know what they're up to.
What's the silliest thing you're scared of?
Well, I have anxiety, so everything.
The toaster.
When I've put the toast in and I'm waiting for the toast and it pops back up and I still scream.
Most times.
But again, I have a medical condition.
It's still silly.
I have a condition that makes me frightened of everything.
Including toast.
Have you got any sweeping generalizations you'd like to make about Halloween?
It's the wrong time of year in Australia to be celebrating this kind of event. It's not, we can't physically have Halloween here because the mood is in the wrong place and the seasons are wrong. No one likes to talk about this, but it's true.
I grew up in the Northern Hemisphere. It was very strange moving here where it's not really a thing, and also it's not winter. Spent many years of my childhood wandering around at dusk in poorly made costumes.
I think Halloween is a good event in Australia for children because it is a bit silly, and kids love horror, and kids' horror movies are actually really good. They're much better than adult horror movies where someone gets naked and then they get murdered in like quick succession. Like, that's not necessarily a horror movie, that's a torture porn movie. It's not the same.
It's not an American holiday.
Also, commercial Halloween is legitimately for children, and I'm fine for that. And when people try and make it about adults, I'm like, it's the wrong season, you dickhead.
Everyone has fun, and pumpkins are great this time of year, regardless of what continent or hemisphere you live on. Fantastic pumpkins, whenever. It's pumpkin season, because I want one.
I like Halloween. It's a bit tacky, it's a bit trashy, it's definitely a commercial holiday here, but as long as you're fully aware of that and not trying to pretend it's some big Wiccan event here in Australia where it's definitely the wrong season and the moon is wrong for it, I think that's fine. I think that's quite acceptable, actually. I like Halloween. I like Hallozeen. I like that they go hand in hand. I like that we have a big community that celebrates it. I like that I've been able to be involved with it for the last couple of years. I like that it is in October so people can start thinking about creating again, because usually no one does anything throughout the winter. Then we kind of get into spring and everyone's kind of like throwing out and being like, oh, the sun's out, oh god, what's going on, daylight savings. And then you kind of just like get shoved back into wanting to make something, and I think a lot of the time artists are notoriously flaky and they don't want to finish projects absolutely ever at all. Just start projects, abandon them, start a new project, never finish anything, obviously, do not submit anything on time or ever completed. But then you have Hallozeen and it's like, well, no, you would actually have to finish this, because if you turn up and your zine's not finished and everyone else has a finished zine, you're going to feel really bad about it. So I think it's good. I think there is a little bit of peer pressure, and I think the peer pressure is good. Just, yeah, sometimes peer pressure is fine.
I would say it just seems like a really nice way to sort of confront a lot of things that freak you out in a really comfortable, supportive environment. So with your friends or family, and we're all like kind of purging this like fear together. Growing up, I wasn't really allowed to celebrate Halloween because my mum thought it was commercialist and way too American. And I was like, oh, I felt like the kid who would be looking in a window of like a nice family Christmas or something. Like, I want to do that. Yeah, it just seems like a really nice way for everyone to sort of come together and face their fears in, like I said, a really supporting environment.
Is Halloween just about overlapping wish fulfillment and challenging what disgusts you? So I feel like this comes back to why I like Halloween so much. It's like, what do you want out of life? And what is stopping you from going and getting it? And then you make the story about why you're still pursuing that regardless, and then how horrible all of the things stopping you can get before you reconsider.
Yes, it is. Hallozeen is definitely about overlapping wish fulfillment and challenging what disgusts you, because I am not very good at drawing, I guess, but every year I do try and make a comic.
I guess there is that element, but, you know, I think maybe saying that takes away a lot of the fun, because there is a lot of, like, you know, frivolity involved as well. There is an element of that. We obviously want to be an amazing, brave, super person. So, like, I guess there's an element of Halloween where we, like, dress up and we're, like, strong and we're scary and we're all together. But we're also kind of, you know, watching horror films or, like, talking about deep, dark death feelings and things that are normally quite confronting and disgusting.
What Halloween means to me is being a dickhead. Well, I mean, I think that's part of it, though, because it's
wish fulfillment is to be a dickhead.
Well, it's like Saturnalia or whatever, right? So you get to go out and be strange and monstrous, and in my case, a dickhead. I find it very freeing. I find it very fun to dress up. I'm actually very much looking forward to Australia. I guess capitulating to the rest of the world on this one thing and embracing Halloween fully.
I think Halloween is, about challenging what bothers you, but I think in a good way. It's a time when all things are topsy-turvy, and sort of the inherent radicalism of that, right? Like, it's about the idea of a space where you can challenge the way that things are, and the things that we think are good and the things that we think are bad, like life and death, can be flipped on their head and played with, and ordinary people can suddenly be monsters, and sometimes that can be embracing what you repress as a person and socially, and looking at what kind of boundaries we don't need and what kind of boundaries we do need, and having a chance to challenge those. And also eat a lot of pumpkin and candy and watch a lot of scary movies, and be with our friends in funny costumes and make zines, which is really the most important part.
I hope Hallozeen continues for many years because I really do enjoy it, and I think everyone else does too.
Do you want to see our dog?
Silliest thing he was here was the plane.
Hello. Hello. A long time ago, I was in one of my normal classrooms. I think it was geography. And we were all very busy. And then a knock came at the door. It was a teacher that I'd never met before. And she said, "Alex, you're needed right now." And so she took me out of the classroom, and we went all the way down the stairs and across the quadrangle to one of those rickety demountables. And we went inside, and there were just rows and rows of old men in suits. And then at the front, there were 3 tables. And there were other kids from my year, all wearing blazers. I'd never had a blazer. I'm not sure why. I wasn't sure why I was there. I'm still not sure. And it turned out that I was supposed to be the first speaker. And the other kids informed me that we were defending the institution of federation in Australia in front of Department of Education representatives, and that this was a big deal for the debating team. And they were all quite aware that what had happened is, in our year group where there are 5 or 6 Alexandras, the teacher who didn't really know what the Alexandra looked like went and got me, maybe the closest Alexandra, and put me there. So one of the other kids gave me one of their palm cards, and I trembled and stood in front of these rows and rows of old men in suits. And I read. I don't even remember what I read. It was someone's winning argument for why federation in Australia was wonderful. And then I think I ran outside. I think I ran away. And maybe it continued, and maybe they made a really good impression. Or maybe the Department of Education found out that our school was a flimsy pantomime of a striving for excellence, representation of academic pursuits. I mean, why did they bring them to the demountables that had the steel on the outside that you could just tear off? Like, it looked like high security rooms. It looked like where you take cattle, and we had cattle. It wasn't as nice as those ones that the cattle had. And to this day, I remember just how scary and mysterious and baffling that was. Some things we'll never know why they happen, but they happen. And as long as we tell each other, maybe we'll be prepared for the next unknown.
Oh, hi. Come on in. I think it's about time for one of Ive's spooky stories. This happened when I was 8 or 9 or 10. My family had sent me away to camp. It was a special camp for troubled boys who were really into hobbies. It was a normal looking camp with everything you'd expect from a camp. Cabins, tents, an activity area, a kitchen, cafeteria type situation, campfires, outdoor toilets, bathrooms, showers, an oval, a lake, all surrounded by an unassuming forest. As a young boy, I wasn't into all that activity. I wasn't into all that sports kind of stuff like I am now. I was actually a little bit of a nerd back then. I was feeling very homesick and I just wanted to get out of there. Luckily, I had a little portable Sony Walkman cassette recording device that my grandpappy gave me when I was 5 or 6 or 7. I brought 2 cassettes with me to camp to keep me company. The first cassette was called This Is 1985, had the top hits of that year. It had Careless Whisper by Wham. It had Wake Me Up Before You Go, also by Wham. It had I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. It had Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. It had I Feel For You by Shaka Khan. And it had Out of Touch by Hall & Oates. And it had Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. And then lots of other songs on there. But the other cassette was the one I listened to the most. The other cassette was full of messages from my family, mostly my parents, just offering words of encouragement, offering just happy thoughts to get me through this camp. Just messages I could listen to whenever I get the kind of sads that children get. So yeah, the camp was just full of kids and activities that I wanted nothing to do with at all. But one night of that camp was like no other. One night of that camp changed my life forever and made me the man I am today. I remember having a terrible night's sleep, just wriggling and just a real restless night, just having nightmares, just the details of which I cannot recall. And I awoke with a startle to find I was no longer in my bed. Somehow, I was in the woods that surrounded the camp. Huge, pretty slice of nature that I just never thought about until that night. So spooky and unfamiliar in the night time. Which way back to the cabin? I didn't know. That's not what was scaring me in that moment. No, my friends. What chilled my beans to the bone was this eerie song I could hear. A quiet, spooky tune I couldn't quite make out. A song I'd never heard before and haven't heard since. Where it was coming from, I dared not investigate. But even in my unformed child brain, sleep deprived, I knew that this was something special. I knew that if I didn't commit it to history somehow, it would be just lost forever, existing only in my brain, and maybe forgotten in my older years. Good fortune, perhaps from a world beyond ours, was looking out for me that night. For as this hypnotic melody drilled into my ears, I looked down, and what did I see? The same Sony Walkman portable cassette device that my granddaddy gave me when I was 5 or 6 or 7. I grabbed that contraption as swiftly as I could, and with my shaky little digit, I clicked down the button that had a red circle on it. That's the record button, preserving that mysterious siren song for all time. Dear viewers, this happened on this very night, 59 or 50 years ago today. In that time, I've shared that recording with experts in the supernatural field, folklore historians, and purveyors in the art of sing-song have mystified academics from around this globe world, and not a single one of them could provide any answers as to where this song came from. Friends, I still have the recording. I still have that cassette tape. I haven't listened to it. No need. I can still hear it in high def, clear as crystal, surround sound, using the audio replaying device known as memory brains. Here it is. What is this? What does it mean? Nobody knows. Thank you, everybody. Have a happy Halloween.
I'd like to tell you another story of something unsettling and surprising that happened to me many, many years ago. One day, out on the basketball courts, there were some people that nobody recognized. They shouldn't have been there. Nobody could play sport with what they were setting up. They were taking up so much space, and yet there was a crowd gathering. Nobody had told us this was happening. And that's when 3 youth group leaders started dancing on this platform and riling us all up about beatboxing about Jesus. And there was something in the way that they caroused in the sunlight, these mysterious strangers at our secular school. And something about them bewitched me enough that when they said, "Does anyone want to come up here and beatbox?" I found myself strutting up towards that stage, maybe swinging my arms like a lovely little marching frog. And when I realized what I was doing, against my better judgment, somehow controlling me out of my free will, when I realized what was happening, the most I could do was just keep on walking, far away past the basketball courts, just to make it look like I was meant to be walking that way for my own reasons, and not because I was enchanted by those mysterious strangers. I don't know what happened to the other children. Maybe they did go up to beatbox when they were asked. Maybe it went well. I can't imagine how it would, though. We didn't have a strong tradition of beatboxing in our student body. But maybe that's how it starts. Maybe all you need is 3 mysterious strangers to convince you that you can.
The Swampy Die-In is a solo mini-comic RPG. It has 6 pages with 6 panels each, and you read it by rolling a d6. On each page, you roll the die and read the corresponding panel. In each panel, you'll find out what happens, and you'll be given a prompt for you to resolve. Then do the same on the next page until you get to the end. It's available at ive.itch.io and was created as part of Hallozeen 2020.
Dear you, being a high school teacher teaches you a whole lot about life. The school I work at has about 900 students and 100 staff. So that's around about 1,000 people who are around me on a daily basis. And I have 100 students passing through my room every week. Add to that 1,000 the parents, carers, brothers and sisters of those students, family members and housemates of the teachers, and that's a lot of people who know of your existence. Being around those 1,000 people shows you a good slice of life, as the students are aged from 11 to 19, and then the teachers are aged anywhere from 21 to somewhere in their late 60s. This means you're around people aged 11 to 70 on a daily basis. And when you have 1,000 of those people, there's always someone who has just moved house, someone who has just broken an arm, someone who has just had their first kiss, someone who has just eaten 6 dim sims and drank 2 cans of energy drink, someone who's pregnant, someone who has just bought a house, someone who has just bought a new guitar, someone who's cheating on someone else, someone who's just been cast in a Hollywood movie, someone who has just been hit by a car. One quick look around the corridors and you can see examples of people in very different stages of their lives. I've been a teacher for 15 years and have slowly watched myself move from being the young new teacher to the bald middle-aged teacher with 2 kids and a mortgage and a beard. When I look to my older colleagues, the thing that scares me the most is watching them struggle with their parents' deaths. I know this happens at a different time for everyone, but the regularity of watching a 50-something teacher struggling as their parents die is heartbreaking. Circle of life, man. Circle of life. Looking around, it's almost more than I can take to imagine all the lives, all the stories that have happened in the 50 years since this building was built. And I feel myself just slip into amongst those stories, and then not. I'll speak to you again soon. From Luke. Alright, Elf, that's it. Okay.
Hello, I just wanted to show you the physical Hallozeen that Helen dropped off. So her PDF is in the Itch.io with everyone else's, so you can see it in nice high resolution black and white. But look at this with the red on vellum. I think it's printed on the front. It's probably just inkjet. I'm not sure what Helen uses. Maybe Helen's in the chat and she can tell everyone. But yeah, I want to just show you this, and it's got red thread. It's lovely. Yeah, with Hallozeen being all online, we miss a little bit of the tactility of zines and the people who go the little extra mile to make them lovely to handle. But yeah, so it's got the Zine Demons cover. It's on a nice bit of, what is it, parchment, vellum? I mean, the words mean nothing because it's all synthetic. It's not animal hide or anything. There's the nice black face. So this is Helen's guide to summoning demons that help with zine making. Are you a zine smith in need? Within this volume, you will learn of many tribulations even the most capable zine smiths have and will face on their dark journey within this truly dark art. Your intentions must be true in order to summon forth these demons. Clear your mind of all distractions. Find within your true desire to execute your zines to the best of your abilities. I love the illustrations in this too. Helen goes the extra mile. And also, I'm not sure if you can tell the texture of the pages. It's a nice parchment. Nice green, nice crisscrossy. Yes, lovely. So this is the Mirage. Mirage. Who knows? Helen probably does. The spectre of flowing ideas. Venture forth and gather thus, one leaf from a tall tree at least 300 paces from your home. 3 words penned by an acquaintance, imbued with positive intention. Brew a cup of fragrant tea and steep within your gathered components. The Medrek will appear to shower potent inspirations over you. Please take care not to abuse the power of this demon, as one frequently visited by the Medrek will find themselves soon incapable of producing their own ideas. Oh, I love the recompense of these eldritch beings. Yeah, if Helen's in the chat, are these made up or are these researched? Because I know there's the Gurtik demons. They're fun. Gurtik demons are a fun canon. I like that pantheon. Pilahamian, an imp to absorb your fatigue from sunrise to sunset. Place upon an offering of a well-fluffed pillow 1 hearty cup of ginseng and a wand of lavender. Close your eyes, and as your lashes part, you shall find a Pilamian upon your pillow. In exchange for your tireless day, the Pilahamian will sit upon your chest as the sun sets and remain there until the next dawn. Make sure I'm only getting 1 page at a time. The Diabo Temper. This fallen angel was banished for manipulating time. He now serves desperate zine-smiths. If you possess a hardy constitution, you may attempt to summon Diabo Temper. Take an analog clock and place the hour hand at 10 o'clock. Place the minute hand at 2 o'clock. Recite the following words in a clear voice. Veni ante angelus autem tempus. He will appear and hold time for you. Though time will not pass, you will feel the fatigue of aging. You must stand firm and recite the following words to dispel him. Valeo Diabo Temper. He may resist. You must harden yourself and insist over and over until he departs. What? Kieran Avon. A siren to ensure your ink runs free and consistent, never running out. Combine in a pail as many handfuls of water as hours you need your Kieran Avon to work. 1 squid carcass and a single feather sharpened into a quill. Place the pail under your printer and take a night's rest. When you wake, so too will the Kieran Avon. Beware, for as many hours the Kieran Avon is awake, your thirst will grow. You shall not be parched until the Kieran Avon has departed. I love this, Helen. You've made a lovely zine. Kirukuma, the devil of perfect cuts. Oh, I loved this one. Stack tall your uncut pages. With salt you must draw a line wherever you would like your papers cut. Beside this stack you must place your cutting implement, a soaked whetstone, and an edge along which to carve a straight line. With great intention you must clap your hands twice. You may not see the Kirikuma, for its work is so swift and accurate that even the keenest eye can hardly catch it at work. Your paper shall be perfectly cut, but your wit shall be blunt, for as many hours as pages you have stacked. Ooh, that's a lot of hours. Ordo manibus, a cherubim to ensure perfect page order. I love the eyes. Collect smooth stones upon an altar of your choice. Paint a number on each stone and lay the pages of your zine out upon the altar. Place each stone numbered on its corresponding page. Once placed, you must turn away from your altar. Recite perfectly this poem to entice Ordo Manibus to your aid. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Help me keep an even score. Ordo Manibus, be sure every leaf's accounted for. If Ordo Manibuses appear, you must not cast your eye upon him. He's of a nervous temperament, and will surely make a mistake if he catches you looking. This is tricky to read, Helen. You're lucky I've done Latin sometimes before. Oh, it's Bronna. This is Helen's cat. She's so soft. She loves cuddles and laps. A being of destruction and distraction. Beware her intrusion on your zine craft. She has been known to possess zinesmiths, drawing their attention from their deadlines to herself. She will render zinesmiths motionless, causing them to oversleep as she feeds upon their life force. She will chew papers no matter the state they're in, devastating materials and completed zines in her wake. If you find yourself possessed by Bronna, you may only combat her effects by welcoming her into your home, giving her meals twice daily, snacks on her demand, warmth in any and all forms, and decoy papers and toys to redirect her incredibly destructive nature. And that's the end. And got a nice last page. This was written for Alex E. Clark's Hallozeen 2020 by Helen Graham, who is currently possessed by Bronna. May your zine craft be successful and fulfilling for all of your days. Please summon zine demons responsibly. Look at that. You can go to her website and partake of her wares and support her. And maybe she's got these up for sale because this is so worth it. This is so worth possessing. And thank you, Helen, for delivering this to my home so that I may enjoy this before, I'm guessing, anybody else. Very privileged. Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween.
G'day geeks and gamers. It's time for an unboxing video. Pause and put a title in there. Today we're unboxing the latest issue of You. It's submitted to us anonymously for Hallozeen 2020. Let's get into it. Alright, let's get into it. There it is, nice little shine there. Look at that. Bit of texture. Oh yeah. Lovely little pattern there. The old U, Y-O-U, where everyone's familiar with that. If you're in the area, if you're into zines like me. Look at this, sealed with staples. You can get a look through the bag if you want, but it's not a keeping open channel, it's an unboxing channel. So let's get into it. If you're worried about the integrity, you'd remove staples individually, but for me it's all about the content. Just want to get in there, better cop some of that temp, you know? So I'm struggling a bit here. Very frail little bag there. But like I said, it's not for keeping. There we go. Good old you. You should try to get it all out at once. Oh no, that is all out at once. See, I was trying to remove the front. But here you go. Good old another copy of You. Look at this. Bit of spoilers, but lost cat really brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? And there's the real tin. I won't read it out, but that's for you to do. But there you go, a little preview. Don't forget to smash the like, comment, and also subscribe button. All right, this is Ive, and I'll see you later.
Okay, let's do fried potato pancakes. Not a very good picture of a fried potato pancake. But I had fried potato pancakes for breakfast, so it reminds me. Okay. This is from 1979. Helene's family were welcoming, even though she herself was not happy that I stayed on the school bus after my stop, so I could stay overnight at her place. Her large Eltham family were all vegetarian, and they all had breakfast together. Unlike mine, like a TV sitcom. Hey, Mom, recipe, grate 1 or more potatoes, add egg, flour, mixed, fry, add homemade tomato sauce and affection. Okay, that's that one.
So why is this your cancer cookbook if only some of them are carcinogens?
Well, it was too much research.
Okay.
I thought if I researched all of the carcinogens in every part of my life,
yep,
then it would never end. I had a list of a few of them on the back, like bisphenol A, which is in tin cans,
yep,
or strontium 90, which is in the atmosphere ever since the first atomic tests, or the stuff that's perhaps what's giving everybody allergies in peanut butter, which is a aflatoxin from a mold that grows on peanuts. I mean, that's as much research as I could be bothered doing, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I looked up when the explosion of Chernobyl was for lesbian separatist nori rolls.
Oh. I didn't see that in your zine.
You didn't see this one?
No.
Well, there were 16 pages.
Yeah.
So if you've only got 9,
yep,
something has gone wrong.
Tell me about lesbian separatist nori rolls.
I made brown rice seaweed rolls for my Brixton squat mates. This is in 1987. I really had to go to a specialist shop to get the seaweed, and then I had to sort of toast it over the stove. You young people, you don't know you're alive.
You don't know how hard it was when you had to toast your own seaweed.
I had to toast my nori
over an open fire.
Had to scramble, get the wood, and then make a fire, and then toast my nori. It was for a squat in Brixton, and my squat mates, I can't remember their names. One was the Scot, the other one was the Sunday Sculptress, and the one was called Tatty. And her girlfriend, Hope Messiah, I remember her name. Only Hope tried one of my lumpy efforts, because it's brown rice nori rolls. Ill-judged. The cancer potential is from the winter of 1987. The cloud of Chernobyl fallout still drifted over Europe and rained radioactive isotopes. But, seaweed has also probably got heavy metals in it and arsenic. And a dangerous amount of iodine. Cancer is in everything.
Yes.
Cancer in everything.
This is the thesis of the... If any recipe has omitted a carcinogen named, it's just assumed that there is a carcinogen present.
Everywhere. In the air, in the water.
Like eating together as a family. Carcinogen.
Eating together as a family, that will definitely give you cancer. Oh, I forgot. The cancer potential is because her father had throat cancer, and so he had to whisper the whole time.
Oh.
So I forgot about that. So these Hallozines are kind of like the first sentence in a short story.
Yeah.
As in, you want to know the story? The story, if you like.
Well, you're not getting any story.
You're just getting a taste. Isn't that what they do in modern sort of fancy recipe stories in the age? They have, this pumpkin soup recipe reminds me of my dad.
It reminded me of those.
That's what I was going for.
I was, like if people want the prolonged stories of these, then they can send a letter to your P.O. box that you've got listed in your Hallozeen.
Exactly.
And request it like it's a book club.
Whole story. Because, like, one of these days I'm going to use these experiences to make, brilliant and heartbreaking fiction. One day.
One day.
But here's the raw story.
Yep.
And mentioning names. So, let's not get into that.
It reminded me when I was at a market once, there was a small girl called Calypso Vanilla Valentine, and she went to every
Prime Minister.
Well, I hope so. She might be like 15 now, and it was in Thornbury, but I can't find her on anything. So either she doesn't do social media or she's not old enough yet. But she went to every market stall and was very sweet and had her long blonde curly hair and stole a little thing out of everyone's stall, and then her parents came and chaperoned her, returning every single one and apologising and telling us what their name was and that she was very sorry. So I hope she's doing well.
If she's all right and not dead or in jail.
Maybe she'll do a Hallozeen one year.
Oh,
Maybe someone else will just use that as a pen name, and I'll think it's her, and I'll believe it.
Yeah. Calypso Valentine. Where are you? This is a call out to you.
Yep. Calypso Vanilla Valentine.
How you doing?
Good.
You can see out my window. I think it's starting to rain.
Ah, that's lovely. Well, I'll leave you to your rain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you had lunch yet?
Yes, I've had lunch.
Okay.
George's River. So I was reminiscing about growing up in Panania and about the river I was a bit scared of, for reasons. And like, haha, normal suburbia. I wish I had creepy folklores about geography to get Halloweeny about. I wish there were liminal boundaries we dare not traverse for fear of unnatural or unexplained retribution. And like, George's River is a lot. What it lacks in a storytelling tradition of whimsical beats and demanded price and recompense, rules and retribution metrics and fairy tale cadence, it sure makes up for it in being abundantly unsettling and unfathomable. Realistically, it's an unfortunately polluted runoff of outer Sydney, a drain for industry flowing into swamps, desperately trying to filter its thick, dark water into a functioning habitat. The rivers curve around Sydney like the train lines. This is kind of where I grew up. Kind of, it is. In the East Hills, Panania, Padstow area. So the lower inlet is where the Brow Boys were, where lots of affluent, all of Sydney is where the all affluent are. Mostly coastal is the posh suburbs. Anyway, the water runs in through the harbour, through the top one, goes in through the Parramatta River. I'm guessing it's connected to George's River. I think it is. There's a ferry that runs between Parramatta and Sydney, and I don't think you can travel south of Parramatta. Anyway, it's close to what the train lines look like. I'm not sure if I ever went to the East Bank to watch the bushfires when they got that close, or just heard about it. I've been there for the times black leaves rain down from a red sky. I've commuted through the barren landscape recovering from incineration, but watching the West Bank afterwards, just black skeletons of trees and the black water expanse between, that protected us somehow. I think they built a nursing home in the Forest West Bank. It might be gone now. As far as I know, it's just dense forest on that side. And a military base, eventually. It's pretty far, but you can hear the booms when they're testing explosives. Kids from the area, me, cannot draw the Sydney Harbour Bridge, because the one that is closest to you is close, simpler, and not what the Harbour Bridge looks like. The East Hills Voyager Point Doppelganger Bridge mimics the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's a trap. Like the Harbour Bridge, the other side is a shadowy mystery forest where you dance day long. Manly doesn't exist. I've never been. Oh, I've been there once. One time my dad took me to Voyager Point Bridge to watch the jellyfish migration. So close to the surface and pink as far as I remember. And so many, just constant. Yeah, there were so many jellyfish. Nora said this sounded like a lovely twee Ghibli childhood. In some ways it is, you know. The fantastical becomes confronting. One derelict boat that was always moored near the bridge. I remember it as something between a cruise ship and a paddle steamer, but that could be child-scale memories. I cannot find photos of it. I guess it's gone now. I think it had like a rotten chunk missing out of the side. Yeah, there's no photos. I can't really remember, so you get this lovely ghost boat illustration. I'm into it. I like it. East Hills is marketed to the 10-pound Poms as a beachy holiday destination. Beach is a bit of a stretch, like it does have sand. My mum showed me a pamphlet full of photos of the blonde jocks gambling about in the sunlight. Another weird interlude of the Wake in Fright, Australian protagonist that I have only seen in Chesty Bond and the Bondi Vet. In high school we did an assignment to ask locals about geographic history. Mrs. Graham was one of my primary school catechists, and she had me over to talk about the, I think it's 1976, floods. She'd go watch dead cows float down the river and explode. I looked up newspaper articles about those floods, and I think they were 2 of them, 2 years apart, and yeah, it's just suburban single-story houses up to their eaves in water, and military dinghies being driven around through the streets to pick people up off their roofs. Fairly catastrophic and tragic. And I think to prevent it now, they've got some embankments built to protect the suburbs from the river. But it is a floodplain. That's what I learned from my geography assignment. And I did all of the fonts were in wide Latin to echo that it was a broad and wide floodplain, and the teacher marked me down for it. So don't do that, I guess. The beach was pretty ashy. I once waded into the water and felt regret when I was knee-deep. My legs were matte, flocked black. Whatever makes the water black was immediately contagious. I watched the small waves drag black shadows from my feet into the water. There wasn't another source of water to rinse it off, so that was an itchy bike ride home. Yeah, I haven't tried wading into the water since. You know, it might not be black anymore. There was one beaten up sign high in a tree warning about sharks. I never saw any, but the water was very black and opaque. So I remember there being fairly frequent disappearances. Like, people would go out on a boat and someone would disappear out of the boat. Like, nobody would hear them fall in, and then bodies would be recovered, but not of the people reported lost. And I googled it a bit, and there sure have been more. And yeah, too big and opaque to search properly, I guess. And my sister said there are substantial do not fish zones, which isn't concerning. Incidentally, also every time I Google my school, there's another fatality. So that's, you know, just around the corner, like off Georges River, is Salt Pan Creek. It's full of mangroves and garbage. Apparently I wanted to have my birthday there as a kid. It checks out. I loved peeping into the mud holes to see tiny crabs. I hope it likes eating all the gross pollution. I like all the rickety boardwalks that get repaired slower than people can set little fires on it. There sure are lots of open pipes crusted with fluorescent sediment, but like surrounded with lush ferns. Like Dagobah, complete with sunken vehicles. Mangroves are natural filters. That's there. I like the aerial roots shown here, little spikes coming up, sucking oxygen in through the dense mud. This is what a bunch of the ducks look like there. Bright red eyes, dense dark patterning, normal ducks. Georges River has so much garbage that there are cages to trap the garbage. This was also in my assignment for geography. It's next to the rubbish tip, pictured in the background, so I guess that's convenient. It's where all the red-eyed ducks hang out, eating garbage through the cage. Anyway, something about fairy tales is a warning against losing Indigenous knowledge, and combine that with the usual vengeance of atavistic entities for environmental violence, and this river is... Ooh! Anyway, a real-life tableau of a damning indictment of colonisation. Ha ha ha. I mean, I read things about how Salt Pan Creek was a location of, where Indigenous Australians could live and gather and get education together enough to engage with colonisers in their own legal, cultural terms, and then get annihilated because there's no beating them at their own game because the game is horrible. But yes, swamps and rivers and mangroves as locations of resistance because Europeans don't know how to cultivate that, how to make it produce their kind of agriculture. And fairy tale folklore is lots of coded history about wronged families and imagined justice, so like fertile ground for those feels. So I feel like if I take all of my fairy tale feelings and my actual knowledge of where I've grown up and revisit that and research it, maybe that would make better fairy tales, better Australian stories.
Warning: the following clip includes flashing lights, possibly strobing.
Halloween. This is 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 Halloween. You come, you will be with me always. You will not go away, I will always be with you. You don't know who I will be for you. You don't know the
Bit louder. So good. That's so pretty. Do it again.
What is this? That sounds good.
When you hold the guitar strings, I can't play the guitar anymore. Don't put the pick in the guitar hole, please. And you keep doing that part you've been doing, and I'll go higher than you. And you again. And then you without the music. Ready? Last one, you without the music. Ready, set, go now.
Hello, can't take it anymore.
Happy Halloween.